Lesson 11, Part 3. Let's graph the equation y equals 3x minus 2. And they gave us our x values, which are also called the domain. So our domain is -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. And we have to substitute each of these values in. So 3 times -2 minus 2 would be -6 minus 2, which equals -8. 3 times x, which is -1, minus 2, so -3 minus 2, -5. To 0. So 3 times 0 minus 2, -2. Now we'll put 1 in. 3 times 1, 1. Do 2. 6 minus 2 is 4. So these are our ordered pairs. Our range would be -8, -5, -2, 1, and 4. We can plot our ordered pairs. So -2, 8. -2, -8, -1, -5, 0, -2, 1, 1, 2, 4, and we can draw, oops, okay. Next one here's our domain, but there's nowhere to put it. So this just says y equals 3. Y equals 3 every time. So we graph this, -2, 3, -1, 3, 0, 3, 1, 3, 2, 3. So you see it is a horizontal line. So things to remember about this is it's a horizontal line. X is missing. The domain is always going to be all real numbers. The range is going to be whatever it says y is. And then we need to keep in mind that the equation, that's Q, the equation is y equals a number. I'm going to introduce you to my friend Hoy. Mr. Hoy tells us that H is horizontal, means horizontal. O stands for zero slope, and we'll get there. We're not really there to slope yet. And y is a y equals a number equation. So that's an easy way for you to remember all of this. If you see a horizontal line and they need the equation, you know it's going to be y equals a number. If you see a y equals equation, you know it's going to be a horizontal line. Then domain, it's going through all the x values, so that's why it's all real numbers. And x values are this way. And the range is only going, oops, I put that at 2, it should be up here at 3. Erase that so I don't confuse it. This should have been here at 3. But if we drew our lines to get our range, it's only going through 3, so that's why our range is y equals 3. Alright, on to the next. Now this one is x equals 2. Now, what that tells us here is that x is going to equal 2 every time. And we don't even have a place to put or to get y. So if x is negative 2 every time, then that means that every y value, doesn't matter which y values we pick, so we can pick any that we want. Let's say negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. Negative 2, negative 2. Negative 2, negative 1, negative 2, 0, negative 2, positive 1, negative 2, positive 2. So things that we need to remember on this one is it's a vertical line. We need to notice that the y is missing. Y is missing. We should notice that the domain if we only have one place to draw a vertical line, so our domain is x equals negative 2. Our range, it just keeps going on that y-axis. It's always going to touch every number on that y-axis, so the range is all real numbers. That's a number symbol. All real numbers. And we need to notice that the equation is x equals a number. So now I'll introduce you to my friend VUX. VUX, V stands for vertical, because it makes a vertical line. U, and we're not there yet, but U is undefined. E, slope. And we'll get there, we're not really talking about that yet. And X is, X equals a number equation. So when you come to an equation that loses a variable, it doesn't have an x or it doesn't have a y, you need to keep in mind VUX HOI. And if they give you an equation, then you can go, okay, x equals equation, vertical lines. Y equals equations, horizontal line. Or if they come and they give you an equation, a line, you know that a vertical line is an x equals equation, so we know that this is x equals 6. So this is just an easy way for you to remember how to graph those equations. So 14, it's the same thing that we've been doing, except we have to pick and make our own table. X and Y. And if they don't give you numbers to put in, then you get to pick numbers to put in. And if you have a fraction, it's always best to pick whatever number's on the bottom of that fraction. We're going to pick a -2. We're going to pick zero, and we're going to pick +2. That only gives us 3 numbers. So find another multiple of that 2, which would be -4 and 4. So 2 minus half of -4 -4. So 2 plus 2 would be 4. Two minus 1/2 times -2 is going to be 2 plus 1, which is 3. Two minus 1/2 times 0 is 2 minus 0, which is 2. 2 minus 1/2 times 2 is 2 minus 1, which is 1. 2 minus 1/2 times 4 is 2 minus 2, which is 0. So those are my ordered pairs. And now I need to graph them. -4, 4. -2, 3. 0, 2. 2, 1. 4, 0. You can see that R1. Okay. So I've got 2 more left. And I have time to probably do one of them. So I'm going to do this bottom, this one, we will do in class. And this one we will do in class. We'll do the last 2 in class when we meet next.